guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mickelle. I am a digital nomad and online entrepreneur. Today I'm going to be sharing my experience living in Puerto Escondido over the past year, well basically 2 years. I've spent about 2 months in this beautiful place and I'm going to be sharing everything as far as how to get here, what to expect once you arrive, explaining the overall town and where you want to be, accommodation. I'm also going to be linking my favorite restaurants and attractions, as well as talking about the internet and what it's actually like to digital nomad here. So first off, Puerto Escondido is located in southern Mexico. It's on the almost tip of it and is very close to Honduras. So the way that you would go about getting here is you would take a short flight from Mexico City. They usually run about 4 flights a day. That is going to be through Aeromexico or Viva Aeromexico. The flights tend to run basically between about 30 to 100 US dollars depending when you get them. Now, once you arrive in PE, there is no reason to schedule a taxi or anything. The airport is extremely small, like literally there's only 2 gates in the whole airport and 1 terminal. So once you exit, there will be a small stand where you will purchase a taxi ride from a lady, and then the taxi will take you wherever you want to go. So for me, I have been staying in La Punta, so that was about a 300 peso taxi, which comes out to about 14-ish US dollars. So there are 2 different areas of Puerto Escondido, and I'm gonna be calling it PE kind of throughout the video, so don't get confused in any way. So first off, you're gonna have Zigatella, and then you're gonna have La Punta. Now, when you go up, you've got Centro and you've got Recanata. Now, I would not recommend staying in Centro or Recanata. No reason other than that you're not really going to meet as many digital nomads or travelers. It is more of a local area. And in my experience, I find the beach to not be as nice up there. There is some really good restaurants in Recanata, so if you're really looking to have some good food, I will link those below. But as far as stay goes and being in the best location, I would recommend staying in La Punta, and if you can't get anything in La Punta, then I would stay in Zigatella. Now, kind of the big difference between the two is La Punta is basically just full of either expats, digital nomads, or people on holiday. There are almost no real roads here, and it has really a sense of community. In La Punta and Zigatella, you will find a lot of yoga classes, a lot of surf, and a lot of meditation. And every day here, sunset is basically a holiday. So when sunset comes, you can find everyone on the beach in La Punta. And even after the sun goes down, everyone claps. So it's kind of cool here, the way that people cultivate community. I did stay in Zigatella some of my time. However, when I do come down here, I do like to stay in La Punta just because you are more with the community and there's a lot of walkable yoga studios and stuff like that, and it is a bit more underdeveloped. Now, as for Zigatella, it's about a 12-minute ride from La Punta. It'll cost you 50 pesos, and that's where all the clubs are. So La Punta is more of a day location, and people stay here usually till about 11 p.m. But come 11 p.m., everyone usually goes up to Zigatella, and that's where you will find the clubs that are open till 6 a.m. There also is way more a variety of restaurants up there, and you are going to find actual paved roads. Now, there is a difference between the beaches in Zigatella. When you go to a beach club, you're going to be sitting pretty far back from the beach, and it's going to take you probably 5 minutes to walk from the beach club to the actual beach just because it is such a wide beach. Now, when you're in La Punta, the beach clubs are going to be much closer and maybe it'll take you a minute. So there is a bit of a difference on the beach, but overall, I don't really think you can go wrong with either one. Now, the thing to note about this location and what is really important, now, if you stay in Zigatella, you might experience some of this, but everything I'm about to share with you is really native to La Punta. So first off, there is not really any real roads. So constantly walking on dirt roads is something to get used to. A lot of the restaurants here don't even have any type of concrete or real ground. So when you do go and sit in those, your feet is going to be sitting in dirt or sand. Now, there does tend to be kind of ants everywhere. Now, I know this sounds really gross, and when I first came here, I was kind of shocked. I was renting a really nice Airbnb, and on the counter there was small ants, and I found this to be quite disgusting. However, this is pretty much everywhere in La Punta, and no matter if you're sitting there trying to eat, there's gonna be bugs flying around and there is gonna be ants. And while I'm shooting this video, I'm literally looking at ants crawling on the ground. The other thing to note about here is the water pressure and hot water is definitely a delicacy. So whether you're staying in Zigatella or La Punta, this is something that if it's important to you, you're definitely going to want to ask about. I'll be honest, everywhere I've stayed in both of those locations, I've had decent water pressure maybe 2 weeks out of the 2 months I've stayed. And honestly, all the showers I've had have been cold. Now, I know this sounds really unappealing. However, after you've been here a minute, the simple life does kind of start to grab you. And I always find coming back to PE to just be very grounding in general and get back to the simple things. Now, beyond that, something to note is many places in La Punta are not going to accept credit card, and if they do, it is going to cost a 3 to 5% fee. Now, there is only one ATM in La Punta, and I'll be honest, it's not usually working about 50% of the time. So this means you're going to have to go to either Zigatella or Centro and go to an ATM and take out cash. I wouldn't recommend taking out too much, but you're going to have that on you if you plan on living here, just because you're not going to be able to have the luxury of using your card. Now, more places in Zigatella will take card, but not really any nightclubs, and many beach clubs really only take cash. So I will link below where some ATMs are and just kind of a bit about where I recommend going if you for sure need an ATM and you need it to work. Now, the other thing that I kind of wanted to touch on is the internet. Some people have been calling Puerto Escondido the new Bali, and there are quite a bit of talk of this place on Digital Nomad Places. However, the thing that I want to preface is the internet here is very, very inconsistent. So if you are someone that you are coming here and let's say that you do engineering or you even have to make a lot of video calls for your job, I personally would not plan on coming here and getting a lot of that done. Now, of course, you can find one-off places. However, it is common in La Punta for everything to completely lose power. Since I've been back this last time, it's happened twice, and the internet has been out here probably about maybe 10 times in the past 3 weeks. So the internet is really inconsistent. Something you can do is you can buy Telcel SIM cards. However, they do tend to add up. So if you are thinking about coming here for digital nomading, first off, staying in Zigatella is going to have a better connection and more likely to keep power. But if you are really dead set on La Punta, there are a couple co-workings in places that have internet. However, these places do close and sometimes their internet doesn't work. So before you come down here, I would recommend asking your Airbnb host for the speed and just coming down here with the intention knowing that, yeah, I may be able to work, but you're not going to get that much done. That's why every time I come here, I come for about a couple weeks, but I don't stay super long term just because it's not sustainable for my workload and everything that I need to get done. Now, the other thing that I wanted to touch on is the So I wanted to touch on the safety and kind of what to not do if you are thinking about coming here. So the first thing that you're going to definitely not want to be doing is walking on the beach at night. Now, I'd always heard this when I first was traveling Mexico, but I figured La Punta feels pretty safe and I'd walk on the beach at night. However, that is not the case, and did find myself surrounded by police officers and in a very uncomfortable situation of them basically taking my friend's money. So I just would not recommend being on the beach at night. Now, the other thing is a lot of people rent scooters here. In my experience, the roads are super, super inconsistent. So unless you are someone that you are very well versed in riding scooters and have been riding around Bali and stuff like that, I would not recommend doing it. The taxis are super, super affordable. I mean, come on, like 100 pesos for the whole day of transportation really isn't much. So I really don't find it necessary, especially if you're staying in La Punta or Zigatela, to have a scooter. Now, as far as affordability goes here, I would say most meals for a meal and a drink is going to cost you about $7 or $8 US. And if you're just going for tacos, you can easily do it for under like $4. So it's a very, very affordable place. Now, some of the most popular things here is definitely going to be surfing. Now, if you're a huge surfer and you have a lot of experience, then you're going to love it here. But if you're like me and you are a bit new to surfing, I honestly not sure if I would recommend it. The current is really strong and the waves are really unpredictable. So before you just go out there with a board, I would recommend maybe getting a coach or going with a friend. My favorite thing though about living here is definitely the yoga scene. There is tons of amazing yoga classes and workout classes that you can attend for about $5 or $6 running all throughout the day. So I will go ahead and link below some of my favorite places to do that type of thing and where I have attended meditation circles, intention setting things, and even cacao ceremonies. So overall, as far as Puerto Escondido goes, I think this is a great place if you're looking to wind down and relax. And if you're trying to do a bit of work, just be aware that the internet is very, very inconsistent. So overall, I would probably rate this city, as far as digital nomading goes, probably a 5, just because the internet is not great. But if you are coming here for a vacation or you're just coming here to slow down, I would recommend this basically kind of 10 out of 10. I hope that you guys found this video helpful, and please check the links below for those tips and those restaurants and kind of those places I recommend, and hope you guys have a great rest of your day. See you guys.